for about 3 rounds, excuse me. And the Western Conference, they've been playing the playoffs since the start for the entire season, anyways, because it's so competitive, it's so tough. So I don't think the East really stands much of a chance. And honestly, if the Spurs didn't, and I go back to the Rockets making their free throws, if the Spurs make their free throws in Game 6 of the finals a couple of years ago, they're going for the third straight championship. It's that simple. It's that simple. The West is fundamentally stronger. Talent-wise is better. And the coaches. There's better coaches in the West than there are in the East. No offense to David Blatt, Tom Thibodeau, Budenholzer, and Dwayne Casey. There's just everything, every advantage. The West has every advantage except for LeBron James. It's the only advantage the East probably has in the 7-game series is LeBron, if the Cavaliers make it to the finals. If not, then there's no advantage for the East. Whoever comes out. There's no advantage at all. Now for some NFL. I was talking about the Texans. They've got the draft coming up on April 29th. That's a big night. They got to fill out the roster. They got to fill out the depth chart on the offensive side of the ball. I think their defense is fine. They're lacking a number 2 wide receiver. They should not take quarterback in this draft. I repeat, they should not take quarterback. The quarterbacks they have on their roster already know the system. They're already ahead of the curve. And there's no guarantee you're going to get a week 1 starter in this draft. So fill the rest of the roster up and see if Mallett or Hoyer or Savage can elevate themselves to being a franchise quarterback. That's the best thing the Texans could do, or they could. I don't see them mortgaging the future for Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota, because I don't think those two are going to go no farther than if they do fall. I see Winston falling no farther than Washington or the Jets. And if I'm with the Washington, Chicago, or the Jets, Washington shouldn't give up on RG3. So I'm going to say the Jets or the Bears. The Bears should really think about trading up. Like, forget Cutler and forget Clausen. Because I honestly think Mariota and Winston are both better. Talent-wise, you know what you're going to get out of Cutler. Clausen is pretty much ruined. I mean, he didn't have much of a chance in Carolina. Kind of like quarterbacks in Cleveland. Cleveland should not take quarterback. They need to stick with Johnny Manziel. And the reason I go back to Washington with RG3 is because they traded 9 players. They traded 9 picks. And you can't trade all that and destroy you. And they really did destroy him. He was on a shredded knee. Should never have been playing that playoff game. But because they wanted to win so badly, they forced him to play. And now he's pretty much a shell of his rookie self. And it's on the coaching staff. You gotta make it work in Washington. But if I'm the Chicago Bears, you know what you're gonna get with Cutler, and you know what you're gonna get with Clausen. You've got to move up, and you've got to move on from Cutler, and you got to admit you made a mistake. First and foremost, say, whoops, we give this guy a big contract and he hasn't lived up to it. And I think it was his 10th season coming up. I don't see any change there with Cutler. I don't. Sorry. So what they got to do is they got to move up, and they've got to try to take Winston or Mariota. But back to the Texans. Let me just finish off with the Bears. The Bears need a quarterback. Period. They need to think about mortgaging the future. That's one thing about with the Texans. The Texans. Bill O'Brien won with 4 quarterbacks last year. I think he's proven as a coach that he doesn't have to mortgage the future for a quarterback. That may not be guaranteed a franchise type player. But he should. He should. He needs to build. It's not a must. Actually, it is a must. It's do or die. They need to build up this offense. That defense can take them to the playoffs right now. But their offense is not on the same level. If their offense got the same level as their defense, which is pretty good, by the way, the Texans would probably become the toughest team in the entire NFL. They got the best player in the league, J.J. Watt, and now they got Will Fork and Raheem Moore, and I feel like with their free agency, that they will go offense heavy drafts, and that's what they need. They need wide receiver, offensive line. They should think about a running back. I'm not gonna put that in the do or die category just yet. You know, you don't know how much longer Foster has. But draft needs for the Texans is just offense. Period. They need offense. They need more talent on. They need to balance out the talent level on the roster because most of the talent on the Texans is on the defensive side of the ball, not the offensive side of the ball. And the quarterbacks, like I said, I think they're fine at quarterback. I think Mallett believed he can be a franchise quarterback, and he was pretty good in his only game. Healthy. I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack against the Bengals because he played hurt. I still think he has a chance. I think Savage could turn into a pretty good player. I don't know if he'll have a shot at winning the job though this year. I think O'Brien wants to keep teaching him. And Hoyer just got out of Cleveland, and with that not so talented roster, he did pretty well. And I know, and he was surrounded by a complete circus in Johnny Manziel. So I'm gonna cut him a lot of slack for his what he did at the end of last season, because it's kind of hard to be the top of your game when you've got a backup behind you that's carrying that the fan base essentially wanted. I mean, once Manziel was drafted, I'm pretty sure every Browns fan was thinking, well, hey, let's go with this kid and give up on Hoyer. So I think, and Hoyer returns to a system that he's familiar in, that he's comfortable in, that he'll be good at running. So I think the Texans are fine at quarterback, but you need talent around the quarterback anyways. You can't have just Hopkins and Foster and occasionally run out J.J. Watt. No matter how amazing J.J. is, he is a human being and he will get tired. So they got to build up the roster. I like what they've done in free agency. As long as they build up the offense, I think they're going to be a dangerous team. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this about the Rockets. I think the farthest they go is